From the early age, we are fed, what can I get, right? What can you give me? How can I get something to get entertained? Who can entertain me? Who can entertain me? Who can give me something? How can I get? We just learn it from beginning. And like, how much can you get? You get and you get and you get, and then you want. We think it's illusion that we want things to feel us, and we want to take. It's illusion. What we really want, because we have a soul of creator. Creator want to create. That's why it's creator. So our soul is the creator. We don't want to take. We want to create. That's what we really, really want.
Right.
How do you manifesting? You cannot manifest with just talk. You must somehow bring it into physical.
Right.
Like to make something physically, and then it's manifest.
Wow. Hi everyone, and welcome to today's episode of the Cosmic Chats with Debbie Sugarbaker. Thank you for joining me today. As you may know, or if it's your first time, on this show I bring on individuals whose work, knowledge, wisdom, and insights have helped me open my mind and perspective, alchemize perceived negative situations, live in a healthier body, and see the world in a deeper, more wondrous way on a daily basis. My aim is that you, the listener, are able to receive some or all of that and to be able to catalyze change in your own life. Please enjoy this episode. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for your support of the Cosmic Chats, for your attention and your energy, and just being a part of each episode. It makes all the difference. So if you haven't subscribed before, please consider doing so. The more subscribers that we can get, the wider the net that we can cast, and the more and more people that we can bring in to share their insights, consciousness, and wisdom, and reveal that in the universe for all of us. So thank you so much and have a great day. So welcome everybody to today's Cosmic Chat with Debbie Sugarbaker. I have Yale Lichaa here from RAZ Land, which is also known as the Robertson Art Zone. She is the CEO, the founder, and a teacher there, and she's going to explain to us exactly what it's all about and how it is really affecting the next generation, but also adults and teens, and affecting the world by bringing in this beautiful consciousness of creativity and manifestation, and teaching people how to tap into that essence that we all have. So Yale Lichaa, thank you so much for joining me. Is there anything else you want to add?
Well, first I want to say hi, Debbie, and thank you so much for having me. As you see, I have a very special talent for technology.
I think it's more the astrology right now.
No, it's my talent. It's a very special talent. Every time technology shies away, when my son comes, he just touches it and miraculously it works. But for me, it works in the hands-on way.
Yes, because you're a hands-on person, which is what we're going to be talking about today.
Yes. And I actually do love technology, but sometimes I guess you have to do things yourself with the hands.
Exactly. So speaking of the hands, you are, like I said, the CEO, founder, teacher at RAZ Land. Can you explain to us a little bit about what that is, how you came to it? I mean, I know your story a little bit. You have a really interesting story. You were going to be a doctor, and you kind of went into art, and I know that it's really a part of who you are, sculpture and painting and creating. So if you'd like to just give us a little bit of insight about how you're using that and what it is that you do on a daily basis.
Yes. So first, when I was 6 years old, I really had the desire to go to school and not just listen for 45 minutes teachers talking, but actually do something about it. And I come from Ukraine, from Kiev. And in that time, education, but the truth is, it's even now, it's still that teachers talking and students are listening. And many times it's hard, especially for children with the high energy. It's not easy for them to sit for so long, they need something to do while they listen, or listen a little bit and right away go to it and start doing. So this is what I dreamed about. I wanted not just to listen and memorize and listen and memorize, but actually come to the place where I can create. And that dream followed me my whole life. And when I was 16, I was actually 14. I read a story about Marie Curie and the physicist, and she was so young, she got Nobel Prize. And I was thinking, I am already 14 and I have not done anything special for the world.
Wow.
So what is it that I need to do? What is my purpose in life? And I think all of us, when we wake up in the morning, we asking like, what is it I need to do? And why am I even waking up, right? And some people get like excited, some don't. And for me, it was very, very big question, especially in the place where we were suppressed. I would not talk much because they didn't want us to ask questions. They just want us to follow. And not everybody wants to follow. Some people want to lead, or I think everybody should have their voice. So in that time, I said, what can I do? And I was asking questions. And my mom was a very special person, that she had all the books that could be in the world, all the famous literature. And I could not find even one book. I read all of them. And I could not book that could answer these questions. What is our purpose? And I think this was leading me to study to be a doctor. I said, maybe I can find a cure for the world, how to heal everyone. And I studied medicine, and I saw that all the medicine just curing, just fixing the effect, the problem, but not really the cause and why people get sick, why people are upset, right? Well, sick. And I found that people get sick because they're missing something in life. And like, what is it that they're missing? And I was always very creative. And I said, okay, maybe they're missing to create. And I went to art. And we immigrated from Ukraine to America. Well, before we moved, I did not know who I was. My parents never told me my identity, that I was Jewish. That was hiding. As you know, in Kiev, it was very difficult. Just like now, everything that you experience now in the world, that if somebody is Jewish, they think before they want to tell anybody, should I say who I am or not? Some people are proud. Some young adults are proud about it, and some are scared. So I really wanted and want now to have the world that everybody is inclusive, that people have a right to exist, because we all have right to exist. That's why we're here. And I think the way that we understand who we are is to, of course, living and listening to people, but mostly is through doing things, through not being scared and jumping to whatever it is we need to jump. And in our place, we let kids and adults just to really not be scared of the white canvas, or not to be scared of all the material that we have, and just to create, not worrying about the results, but really enjoying the process. And what is so beautiful that I noticed for myself and everybody who here, that we don't really understand ourselves. We don't know who we are. And it takes years and years and years. And every day and every year, we discover more and more. And a lot of times we judge ourselves, or we're scared because of the pressure of the society. But when you come to the RAZ land, the goal, the purpose is just really to be free and not to be scared of anything. And I noticed that through art, if you drawing or you sculpting or you building or you're doing anything, you actually start looking and say, okay, I am limited, right? I just draw like this and I'm scared, or I'm too fast, or I don't have patience to finish something. And while doing the projects, we actually understand our limitations,
wow,
what we need. Yes. we really understand. And also we can see, like when I have students, I can tell what is this, the blockages that the person have, and they can tell. Or what is it? Or maybe there's something, if somebody paints with all dark colors, maybe there is something dark in their life. Like there's so much you can learn about ourselves and each other while we're making art.
Wow. Wow. It's so interesting because even before I came on here, I was thinking like there's different states you can be in, even putting things out on the internet or, creating through social media, which is what a lot of people are doing, digital creators, right? There's like two different worlds you can be in. You can be in a world where you're worried about how, or not even worried, but you're in tune with with the reaction that people have to you, or this is me, or I can just be. And I've been learning since I began, and over the last 4 years, it's been a process of learning how to just be me. Because I used to be so sensitive that, you could kind of tap into what other people thinking, feeling. Obviously, we know that some of that is like trauma responses from childhood, the way we needed to survive. We needed to feel what other people were thinking and feeling or in reaction to us. And it's really been so freeing and a process. I'm not saying I'm completely there, but to be really just to be with oneself and to be oneself in the world, and then to be able to express on a deeper level more and more of that essence. And it's interesting because I was just thinking about that before we came on, and it's kind of what you're saying. Your interaction with your creation allows you to see where you need to grow.
Yes, and I don't know, I guess it's different people can understand and process information differently.
Yeah.
But I truly believe that we process more information when we do things with our hands. It's for a reason we have hands, right? And when people don't have hands, then they find a way to do something, right? Like I always, one of the things that always was scaring me, like when I was young, I was in camp somewhere in Kiev, and the girl didn't have hands. And I am an artist and I do everything with my hand. And I was thinking, what would happen if, God forbid, I don't have hands? And I was thinking, like, if I sit in the dungeon or I'm captured, I was thinking when I was younger, what would I do? Imagine I cannot do, I'm just sit. And what can I do with my mind? Right. And you know what I actually find out when I was asking questions, okay, so what is the purpose in life? And I was looking for that book that my mom didn't have. I was searching and searching. And finally, through the art, I understood in a funny way. We had a project to do, and I was looking at what is my project? What is my mission? How can I become famous artist and create the most beautiful art? What would be my theme? And I started reading books, and I stumbled over Tree of Life. And I'm like, what is Tree of Life? It sounds good. And I started looking at different books, different sources, and I found Q-Bala with Q, C-Bala with C, and Kabbalah with K, long time ago, 20 more years ago, 30 years, almost 25. And in that time, Kabbalah Center didn't have any books, not much books. But I was searching, and I said, okay. And then I got it. My purpose in life, to create a tree of life. I had no idea what it meant. But when I found that somehow by miracle, by coincidence, the Kabbalah Center happened to be in Philadelphia, 3 minutes away from my house. Wow. Literally 3 minutes walking from my house. And I noticed when we have such a huge desire, and this is for everyone, when we have something so important and such a huge desire, things happen, things manifest. And that's what I teach while we make art. When I teach that when we make art, we're not just making art. Because beautiful picture, anybody can, well, maybe not anybody, but we can make it. We can make a copy of something. Somebody more, somebody less. But it's not about that. It's about putting the energy in everything that we create, because the energy, that's what sells. Beautiful picture, yes, it needs to be nice and appealing to the eye, but what's important is the energy, right? You saw like some banana or anything else, right? It was sold, scribble, scrabble.
Oh yeah, I saw that one. One banana. It sold for
one banana, worth millions of dollars, right? But it's not about, it's the concept, right? It's the message in your art. And it's the energy that you put in, right? That's what usually sells. That's what people feel. People feel the energy of the art. And when I know that when I create art, I feel like the walls actually changing. And I feel like the universe changing because we bring the energy of creation through us to the physical world.
Wow. Wow.
And this is what's up when we cooking, right? When we designing clothes, when we making a podcast, right? Creating, we're not just doing things, right? Automatically, we're thinking, what is the purpose? What the message I want to give? What I want people to receive?
Right.
So the same is art. It's the same. And I teach kids, and in the beginning, they're all shocked. They look at me like I'm crazy, but then they actually experience it. I tell them this. While you making your art, is it maybe we usually do a lot of cultural art stories. And while you paint, drawing or sculpting now, or building this house, think of the people who don't have a house and try to meditate really for them to find the way to build this house. When we had fires in Los Angeles, and we had many, many kids coming to us because their schools were closed. So we are open every day. RAZ Land open every day, open studio where people can just come and create anything they want. We have all the material.
I love that.
Available. Or we have like a day of school, the kind of like a mini camps that they come and it's themed. Like now we have a theme Olympics because as you know, in 4 years, Olympics are coming and people think, 4 years, like how can you think 4 years in advance? But it's not true because Olympics takes a lot of effort for actually the city to host it.
Yes.
And Los Angeles is very cool. Yes.
Wow. Keep going. No.
In Los Angeles, it's very, very cool. In 2028, we're going to have Olympics. And it's not so far away. Right now, since in Los Angeles, there's a lot of areas and a lot of venues already created. But you know what the problem we have in Los Angeles? What is our main problem? Transportation. So they're all thinking now, the board of directors of Olympics, thinking how can we host all these millions of people that are going to come in 2028? How are we going to host them? How are we going to drive them to place?
Right.
So now they're actually thinking and developing the whole transportation. They start building subway. So if you see places are closed, you know why? Because they're building the subway. So at RAZ Land, I believe not only to looking in the past, and one other thing also when I was little, and thing that actually bothered me when I studied art, that my teacher said, this artist, and look at this artist, and look at style of this artist, which is good. It's good for us to look at everyone, but we all have our own style. We all have our own voice, right? And style of making things and building and cooking and dressing. And I did not want to do particular limited style of somebody, but I wanted to connect to limitless. And all my life, doing anything, but especially in art, I said, how can I just connect to the limitless world when I can just step to everything and to understand what is it appropriate and what's right in this moment, in this time.
Wow.
So this is what I teach kids. I teach kids not to follow something, but they can get inspired. Of course, we have each other to inspire.
Right.
We have it, yes. Right. And it's good to look at different artists because every artist reveals something and certain movements, certain revolution, they overcome certain blockages of that world. And usually art reflects the political situation of this time, right? Or whatever the society going through, usually the art reflects it. So now in the contemporary world, we actually in such an amazing digital world, but also everything, a lot of mixed media, a lot of messaging and internet, digital art. And so I teach kids how to connect to that limitless world. Now, I probably lost you to my point of the Olympics. So we are here doing whatever is actual to what's happening now. And what's happening now, of course, the wars everywhere. So what we teach kids also how to, whatever if they're doing painting, like how to bring the Garden of Eden and all the positive aspects of life into their work, but not only in the piece that they have, but also with their thoughts to actually spread it around the world. And I found this the most powerful thing in the whole world. So when I was young and I was thinking, what would I have if I don't have hands and I would just have my power, just my mind, what would I do? So I was thinking, maybe in my mind, I can create realities. Maybe in my mind, I can actually stop someone from killing someone. Or maybe in my mind, I can actually help someone and guide them to do something. Basically, to see beyond what is in our space, but somehow in our mind to connect to the whole world and all the people in the world.
Wow, so powerful. And incredible that you're bringing that, something so vast and so grand, to kids. Something that you said about getting inspired by other artists, but maintaining your connection, but knowing that you have a connection to your own creativity, to your own soul. That's something that's so important for kids these days to learn, because without that initial connection, which obviously you're helping kids to build through the art, through the doing, through the actual creating, that's how we build that connection with that essence inside. And the stronger that connection, the less likely we are to be pulled and influenced by things that maybe we don't want to be influenced by. Because I think if that connection is weak, if you're kind of in a space where you're not really creating and we're in a culture of a lot of consumption, then you can kind of get lost under the mud. And then you kind of are separated in a way from that strength, that creativity, which can be found back at any time. But then you can kind of get lost in so many things today. There's so many distractions, comparisons, all of the traps basically of the ego. So it's incredible how you're kind of using art as a form to battle this and to give kids, to give adults a space to come and to explore and to feel that connection and strengthen it.
It's so powerful. It's so powerful that when kids come here, first of all, I tell them, when you come here, leave all this judgment, limitation, leave it outside. When you come to RAZ Land, imagine you came in the magical place where everything is possible. Everything is possible. We don't say bad words. We don't judge other kids. We're just enjoying our process and just enjoying being with each other. And I really tell them, there are many rules, right? And there are so many rules I can tell, don't do this, do that. But really, I tell them, I'm going to tell you our 8 rules, but the most important rule is this. You always think, whatever I'm going to say now or do something, is it going to build? Is it going to help someone? Or is it going to destroy and hurt someone? And the truth is, and more I understand now in our world of confusion, more and more it's clear. It's not really confusion. We should not be confused because it's very simple. What is good and what is evil? We have all millions of opinions and it's okay. It's beautiful to have opinions. It's beautiful to have friction because without friction, the light cannot be revealed. Without friction, without discussing something and maybe wanting to scream, if we don't have this friction, we don't understand what's happened and we cannot understand other people's perspective. But what's important is that it's not about this friction, which we need, but it's about, will it help? Will it make someone feel good about themselves? Will it make me feel good? Like my husband says, this warm, fuzzy feeling. Or will it make someone feel not good and about themselves or just feel empty? So it doesn't matter who's right, who's wrong. It doesn't matter perspective of the person. But what do we feel? Do we feel continue and inspired with someone or by doing something? Or do we feel down and depressed?
Right.
So,
and then to explore that, yeah.
And it's really not complicated. We think it's complicated, but it's not. Right. It's really simple. So it's this aspect. And then there are many aspects we teaching and learning and experimenting. And we always have like a theme, but then also and of course, techniques. We teach kids and adults very simple techniques because I studied and all of this, like, and how to be perfect and how to be precise. And it's like, sometimes kids and people don't have patience for this. So I developed something very simple, proportions, how to learn, or mixing colors, like there are 3 primary colors and you mix how you can get many colors. So I myself developed, like, because I don't have much patience. So I learned how to make things simple and more comprehensive to any ages, from 4-year-old to 80 years old.
Wow. I'm sure you have stories of people that came in and used your space to help them to go from one space in their life to another space. Do you do like retreats or things like that?
Yes, we have different events. Like we had the 82-year-old woman birthday. We had this Sunday, and we teach adults also. And the thing is that the adults, all of us, many things we were missing in school, and I really wished our whole education would be changed, and we actually learn what's important in life. Because also what I teach with the art, not about just techniques and how to be creative, but also life lesson. Like, for example, did you know that there is no black in nature? Did you
Wow.
know that the black color does not exist in nature?
Wow.
Like we teach people secrets, because RAZ means secret, but it's also, so we reveal a lot of secrets at RAZ Land, but RAZ also numerical value of light. So that's why we chose that name. And we teach many, many secrets. So yes, that's one of the secrets. Black does not exist in light. If you look at the color wheel, it's from yellow, right? All going yellow, blue in between colors, then blue and red in between colors, and red and yellow in between. There is no black, there is no white, there is no gray, and there is no brown.
Wow. That's
It's
crazy.
very, but black does not exist in nature. What is black? It's combination of the
What do you
colors.
mean? Like in nature, but there is like black sand beaches and stuff like that. You're talking about like
It's not
literally in
really
nature?
black.
It's not
They're
really
not
black.
really black. What there are, like I have some paintings that I can show you. Well, this is black, but there are some that looks like black, but it's not black. It's a blue. It's the 3 primary colors combined. And to make gray, you just add a little bit white. And to make brown, you just depends on the color. You add a certain color to become brown.
Wow.
So it's really beautiful. And what is white? Do you know what's white?
White is reflecting all of the colors back, right?
Exactly. Exactly. Yep.
Wow. Very cool. Wow. So so you obviously RAZ Land is located in Los Angeles, right? But there are probably people who are listening now or who will listen in the future who are not local to Los Angeles. Yet they want to bring this idea, this tool. It's like a tool, a technology, a tool for children to learn and to connect with themselves and to connect to their collective soul, and adults. So what are some things maybe that would you suggest to parents if they wanted to incorporate this into their weekly schedule or something like that?
Yes, it's actually a good question, because one of the things that I developed is many programs. Like first of all, we have a 10-week mixed media course, and it's not recorded yet, but we have it in person. If anyone wants, in any school, close and local, that we can come and teach this. We can also teach teachers how to teach in their classes. And yes, it will be recorded soon. Now we have a 10, it's kind of like a 10 introductory, which combines many, many techniques, but also many mediums: sculpting, painting, collage, drawing, building, designing, and also the different topics in 10. So it's kind of introduction. But then we also have 8 to 10 weeks just on painting and color theory, then just on making, like, drawing characters, then building sets. And we love also stories and culture. So we incorporate in everything, in all our classes, we incorporate stories, like cool, cute stories, and also cultures from around the world. And you start learning about cultures, it's so beautiful. You start understanding how much we all interconnected, how fun the spiritual part of every culture is, and how much we all want the same thing. But in the same time, how we all different.
Right.
And
that's the
we
beauty.
also teach, instead of judging, how cool it is to be different. I always tell kids, imagine if you all were green, or you all were purple, or you all were the same. How would you know who you are?
Right.
The dream is, and the image that my bigger dream that I have is to have like a Disneyland, do it yourself. So imagine, and we actually made AI picture of this. It didn't come out as much as how I wanted. And this is something that I really want all the stuff that we have in our mind to be able to translate in the physical world. So that how to have like a place that you come and you just create. You go to the technology room and you just make your character, you make your world. You go to painting room and you just paint anything you want, not being scared, just by inspiration around you, you get that spirit to paint and to express yourself. So
for a lot of people, it's like a natural, for some people, it's like a natural inclination. Like they love crafts and art. When I was younger, that was always my favorite part, was arts and crafts time. And for some people it comes really naturally, but for some people they're not really like so artistically inclined. But you say like anybody can do this, right? Because we're all doing it all the time in a different level of life.
And I noticed, like also when I was in the medical field, you can see it very, very clear that white people get depressed. Do you know why most people, I mean, there are many reasons probably,
right?
But one of the main reasons, do you know why people get depressed? Why?
I think that there are a lot of different reasons, but I would say that disconnection from that creative spark of our creativity and our life force is a huge part of it. You kind of become apathetic to things. You don't feel that connection for whatever reason because you're distracted or being pulled by something or not knowing how to create that connection.
Yes, it's this. Yes, there are many reasons, right? It's this. And I think that one of the biggest, I'm not sure, but that's what I experienced from myself and from other people. When people want something, they have a desire, they have like a vision how they want to live their life, but they're not there. Mm-hmm. So they know, some people don't know who they want to be, but most of the people, I think most of you guys, right? Most of you know what they want, or at least we have an idea, especially when we become older. We get an idea.
I think it takes a long time, and I think that stretch from, let's say, like 17 until like through the 20s, I don't know, this is just one perspective, because literally every single person and their soul and their process and where they were born into the world and how they grew up and what they did and what sparked their desire. I mean, I know I have a friend of mine, I remember him telling me he actually ended up, he's in manufacturing things. Eventually he had his own manufacturing company and but he went through a long process to get there. He was manufacturing lighting. But I remember him telling me that when he was younger, he used to sit down and draw this picture of like him with like a smokestack, you know, like a little, like a factory, you know, with the thing and the from a kid's mind. And he said, I used to draw that. I always wanted to do that. So some people, I think, you know, obviously it comes like that. Other people like myself, I think it was more like a long journey of just kind of exploring and moving in a certain direction and making certain decisions in a certain direction and not really knowing exactly where it was going to take me. And that process can be really hard because in a lot of the different spaces, you're like, wait, am I on the right path? Am I, you know, but that does build a certain amount of strength, and it's through that process that if you can take it in the right way, you can really build a strong connection to that inner spark. Yeah,
it is true. Yeah, it is true.
Everybody's different.
Everybody's different, and for some, and that's why I feel like we all need to. That's why just imagine that this is like something that when I was younger, and this is something I wish. My dream is. And my wish that I am praying every day for all the schools and for all the kids to have that ability, not when you're in the high school. Why would we, like I learned medical, I went to medical field when I was in the 9th grade. But why not to learn during the elementary school to give kids opportunity to experiment with different things?
Right.
So they experience this, and they eventually, by their 12, by their 15, 18, they have an idea what is it that they desire, right?
Right.
And of course, it's a journey. But I think the way that education is structured, it's so limited that it takes us so long to find for what?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree with you. I definitely agree. I think things are changing, and I think that programs like RAZ Land, and if you can somehow get it more out there, and obviously you're creating the online offerings. I know there were a few parents who reached out to me, you know, that were excited about this chat because they wanted to bring something like this to their kids. You know, it's something that's so needed and wanted and beneficial to any human being on this planet, I believe, at any moment in time. So yeah. And I wanted to discuss, just wrap it up with something.
1 second, could I just say because about the depression. So
Yes.
I wanted to address, because I didn't finish that point. So they have a desire, they want something, right? They want something, but they don't know how to get there.
Right.
And that's a lot of depression. It happens because of this. So somebody said something, right? And they feel bad about themselves, and they feel that they're useless and they cannot get there.
Yeah.
So this kind of thoughts, it's because, and I feel like if because of creativity, what you said, it actually could, solve the problem of depression, but also give the tools how people can get to the place they want. Because I notice when we put something on the paper, either write down something, you know, the power of writing things.
Right.
I have friends, everything is in my head. It's okay, it's in my head. But in your head is a mess.
Right.
There's something in your head, you got to take it out.
So talk about that a little bit more. Talk about that a little bit more. Why?
Really important. It's really important. It's such an important concept. Like my husband, I have so many things to do. I said, what do you have to do? 5 things in your life. What do you have to do? Write down. After he write down, he's like, oh, it's not so much. I said, no. Also me, like then when I write down, I say, no, we not have so much. Or now about the art.
Oh, that's very powerful. I can use that. I mean, I do write it down, but I'm one of those people. And by the way, some people are like astrology who might be watching this. Maybe you don't. But some of it has to do with your astrology. I remember someone telling me, because I have a Gemini moon, so it's like my mind works really fast. And that I used to feel overwhelmed a lot because it's like I want to do so many things, but I feel so overwhelmed, and then I kind of like gets stuck somehow on that level of the mind. And so it was recommended also write it down, see what the things you need to do, and it was helpful for her to mirror that back to me and to say, oh, you know, based on just looking at your chart, you might deal with this kind of feeling like you have so many things to do. I'm so overwhelmed because you're not writing it down.
Yes, because it's all together. But when you start putting and start distributing the compartments, it's becoming easier and easier. The same is art. When we want to manifest something, and I always did it in my life. When I wanted to manifest soulmate, I used to buy food and cook food for 2 people. I actually prepared a plate for 2 people, and I put food and I cooked for 2 people. And then we start understanding when things come into us. So when I wanted to have my art studio, I drew the place that I wanted. And it's manifested in couple, and every time. So now I want to have a whole land, the whole city. So I need to draw and build the whole city in the small part so it manifests. But this is also for people. The tip for people, if people want to accomplish something that they don't know how, art or building or making things in with the hand and creating like something is the most powerful thing. Like if you want peace, right? Or if you want your health, so actually write and paint yourself healthy or paint yourself the way you want it. But this process of putting things from your brain on the paper or on the piece of art or I'll show you something. In our beautiful Colombian house.
Wow, beautiful.
Beautiful Colombian house, or our worry doll from Guatemala that takes away your worries. So by doing just these kids, when I tell them, beside the Zohar, of course, I tell the kids, make this, it's a beautiful story from Guatemala about the dolls, and amazing story, how the girls needed money, and there's a whole thing about it, but it's too long. So we made this worry, and this worry doll, when you put under the pillow, they're taking all your worries away.
Wow.
So it's silly, right? It seems silly. But when we do it, it actually helps us.
Right. Because you're setting the intention. You're the one that's giving it the power. It's not that it has inherent power, but it's our consciousness that gives things our intention.
Our intention first, but then in order to manifesting, you must bring it to the physical world. Right. And this is that people, how do you manifesting? You cannot manifest with just talk. You must somehow bring it into physical. Right. Like to make something physically, and then it's manifest.
Wow. Beautiful. Very powerful. So do you suggest, I know a few times in my life for my birthday, like a few friends got me like a session at the pottery studio, doing pottery and doing things like this. And I always felt like I was kind of sent there to do some sort of work with my hands, because I don't do so many things with, just with my hands. I'm on the computer writing a lot, but it's not necessarily, it's different when it's thought to writing, I think, than when it's thought to okay, writing is one level, but the hands and the working with the clay is like another level. Yeah.
Clay
so,
is very important.
Yes. Okay, so the thing that we wanted to just kind of wrap things up with is that you're helping to bring people from spectator to creator. And that's really what we've spoken a lot about in this conversation, about the depression, about different things, like moving from where can I become. And maybe this is like a question we can leave ourselves and leave anybody who's going to listen to this. Where can I move from being a spectator to a creator in my life, and feeling more of allowing that energy to move? Do you have anything else to share?
Yes, and this is actually very good. And I think it's something that also I had to learn and to overcome a lot of things from myself, because I was very, very selfish. And of course, we never become 100% not selfish and sharing human beings. But I was very selfish, and the only thing I wanted to do art all my life, just to do art, not to do anything else, not to cook, not to clean, not to take care of the kids. When I was young, I hated everything. I only wanted to do art. Now, so I had to overcome this. And you know what I did to become less selfish? I completely stopped everything, all my art, and I just started sharing and see what other people need. Of course, it was difficult in the beginning, so I kind of had to let it go completely. But every time I let go of art used to come back and run after me. So for people who want to be, but why it's like this? Because yes, in order to become creator and not spectator, because when we watching, also when I was sitting and watching movies, I never understood when I was 10. I'm like, it was so boring for me. 2 hours to sit through the movie, for me, it was a torture. I'm like, how can someone sit through so I was telling to my friends, I don't want to watch it, I want to make it.
Right.
So it's some people can, because this is what happens to us. We, from the early age, we are fed, what can I get, right? What can you give me? How can I get something to get entertained? Who can entertain me? Who can entertain me? Who can give me something? How can I get? We just learn it from beginning. And like, how much can you get? You get and you get and you get, and then you bored. My son has a good video about sharing that Miriam Zadeh from Spirituality for Kids taught him how to become sharing person. So he said, like, okay, you have a Beyblade, you play with this for 5 days, then you get bored. So how can you get not bored? You share and let other people play with it. You let it go, and then it creates new energy, and then you want it again.
Right.
So the same is us. We think it's illusion that we want things to feel us, and we want to take. It's illusion. What we really want, because we have a soul of creator. Creator want to create. That's why it's creator. So our soul is the creator. We don't want to take. We want to create. That's what we really, really want.
Right.
When we start shifting the consciousness, what can I get? And start thinking, what can I give? how can I feel the lack of surrounding, feel the lack of my friends, feel the lack of someone by creating, by doing something for them, to them, by me. We can actually feel better about, and we feel a creator.
Right.
And we're proud of it. And the kids love this doll much more than the doll that they buy.
Right.
And they appreciate it more.
Right.
So the whole concept that I want for the RAZ Land, when people come to us, instead of get entertainment and get amused, they actually create their own characters, their own world, and that's how they understand who they are and they become more happy.
Wow. Yes, definitely, 100%. And it's so powerful because I think that sometimes it's almost like we're wired from the time that we're young. We're wired to receive that energy. So it's almost like it's a process of rewiring ourselves, not just on the consciousness level. Oh, now I want to share and I want to do this. But you can do that, but you can still be wired to be receiving that energy. So I think that it's a whole process, and I think that this is kind of a different topic, but it's something I'm really passionate about bringing this idea that you just said, but into the level of movement in the energy centers in the body, so that my being, down to my guts, down to my sacral chakra, down to my root, down to my feet, my body, the embodiment of that is something that really fascinates me. And it's kind of something that a project that I'm very interested in, that rewiring that happens on that level. But just putting that out there because we're having this great conversation.
I like it. I want to know more.
Yeah. So Yael, thank you. This has been absolutely enlightening, and so many different gems of wisdom that you've brought to us today, and ideas. And probably people are going to walk away with this, with ideas about how they can incorporate this into their own life, or maybe do their own version of, connecting with their own creativity. It's the inspiration is endless. And I wondered if there's anything else that you want to share in closing.
Yes, I want to share exactly that. So I also noticed after many, many years of working with different kind of people, first of all, with different ages, and second, with different group of people. Basically, kids come to us from all over the world. We have people actually from India, from Korea. 1 week we had kids from Korea, Japan, and Taiwan who spoke no English.
Wow.
They didn't speak any English. So we communicated through art.
Beautiful.
It was very cool. So we have kids all over the world. But what I noticed, something about the ages, that in the beginning, for the younger kids, ages like 2 to 5, that, most of the parents want to put the kids, they always call us, can you please teach them to draw, teach them, give them the skills. And in this age, it's not about skills. It's about communication. It's really interesting how I understood each age, the art serves certain purpose. For example, for this age, 2 to 5 is art as a communication. The ages 5 to 7, maybe it's art as exploration. Like 7 to 10, maybe it's art as experimentation. And then when we are younger, it's maybe the art as I forgot how I named it, but something else, like different age, art services different purpose. And when we are older, like maybe after 50, when we already kind of accomplished, or we think we accomplished things, or maybe older, it's art as a reflection. Mm-hmm. So you look, and this is one of my dream that I didn't do it yet, but one of the courses that I want to do for adults, I want to make a course, art as a reflection, and actually the whole life. Because I really believe, and this is something that also when I was little, and that's how I got also to spirituality, is when I was young, I was thinking like how we all connected. And I saw in my mind how there's one person and he's like exploding in many, many pieces. And each piece is connected and each piece is so important. And our final correction of the world, when all these pieces connect and feel good about themselves with each other and all come in one unity, I always had this vision. So I really believe that each one of us are so important for the world.
Yeah.
And it's so important to be with each other and learn from each other and enjoy each other.
Beautiful.
Any religion and any, yes, this. But this is the course that I really dream about. So to have this, that because we are so important in this world, but unfortunately, like, when we die, what happens? Like, I feel sad that nobody knows that you existed unless somebody is famous, right? But what if every person actually understands how powerful and how important they are, that they value their life so much, and they record it. They make it as the book. They make it as the video. They make it as something, so it's actually passed to their kids and to generation, to their friends, because I'm sure so many of you, so many of us have diamond that they can share with the world.
Totally.
that we're not sharing.
Totally. That's part of the reason for this podcast, is that I knew I had this huge web of individuals, souls, everybody doing different things, like what you're doing, what everyone is doing, that is so incredible, that I wanted to create a space for people to share that. And yeah, so I totally feel you on that. And it's a big realignment happening, because people are realizing how much how much of our life force we gave because of the values of the world that we're born into, and we're kind of programmed that way, that, okay, celebrities, like, all this culture where we just like outsource of our energy, that you feel like I'm not important, but if they're up on there, then they're the one that's important. And so then I have the cord of the inferiority and the superiority. So what's beyond inferiority and superiority on the level is being who you really are, is that authenticity. So, and loving who you are, knowing that, like a gentleman who came on the podcast a couple of weeks ago, he said, like, there's trillions, like, he was working in NASA at some point, or like training them or something like that. No, in the where the atomic center was, or whatever. So he's into like physics and stuff. And he said, like, the probability of all the cells coming together, all the atoms coming together to create one individual human, it's like trillions and trillions in statistics, and it's like impossible. So why when we come in here, then we automatically just negate that in a second. And it's the trick of, it's part of the plan, it's part of the process, is to have that curtain, so to speak, that kind of blocks us from really realizing. But now we're in a space where it's like, own who you are, be who you are, love who you are, and how can I know that my life is precious, and that then how I interact with other people is going to be very different.
Yes, how I interact, how I spend my time, what kind of movies I'm going to watch, what kind of YouTube channel, what kind of podcast I'm going to listen to.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thank you so much again, Yael. I think you and I could just talk for a long time, because we really vibe on that level. But it was just been an absolute honor to have you here. Thank you so much for coming in the Cosmic Chats. And thank you to everybody who joined us today.
Thank you so much. And thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much for listening to the end of today's episode. Feel free to like, share, subscribe, send it to a friend, family, anyone who you think could benefit from this energy. The wider the net that we can cast, the more souls that we can bring in to reveal their energy, consciousness, and wisdom, and reveal it in the universe for all of us. Thank you for joining me on my journey, and thank you for having me to be a part of yours. Much love.